You are listening to the Holistic Travel Nurse Podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about fasting. We're going to talk about, I think we'll see if we can get into talking about autophagy and apoptosis and maybe explaining those, because I think people should be aware of how they can help their body, and those are things that are helpful for your body. But fasting, there's an incredible documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know where else if it's on Netflix, but please take the time to watch it and then share it on your social media. I think it'll be good for other people. And same thing with this podcast. I will definitely not be going in depth as much as that documentary did. It was fabulous. But I am going to give kudos where kudos belong, and that is to Dr. Jason Fung for one of the studies and reasons behind the obesity code, and then many other books, and to integrating in his practice. And he's helped probably thousands of people lose weight, reverse type 2 diabetes, get off blood pressure meds, and overall improve health, which is just fabulous. And he would make more money as a physician just following the normal guidelines and getting people on meds, but it wouldn't really actually help anybody. So he did the work that nobody else would and tell the truth where nobody else would. And that I completely respect, and I honor him for that. So if you know him, send this to him so he can listen to it. But let's also give some kudos to the fat burning man. That is Abel James. He's a genius, and he's one who agrees in fasting. Amy Berg is another one who is an author of a book about Alzheimer's, The Antidote. She has a master's degree in nutrition, a certified nutritionist and specialist in therapy and practitioner. Dr. Michael Rosnick, he helps people naturally, so I'm a big fan of him. Dr. Bird Hering, he is integrated himself intermittent fasting and has studied it further. In 2005, he started knowing and talking about it in books. He has the 5-Day Fast, the Fast 5 Lifestyle, someone you can pick up and read. Megan Ramos works with Dr. Fung for 16 years. She's a medical researcher. Awesome. And I'd love, Megan, for you to be on the podcast. I've heard you on other podcasts, and be an honor to have you. Another incredible genius would be Dr. Thomas Sedfred. If I pronounce your name wrong, I'm so wrong if you hear this. A biologist in the Boston College, received his PhD in genetics and biochemistry in the University of Illinois. And he's done a lot on fasting and long-term fast, which is just fabulous stuff that he's got going on. Mark Session, the author best-selling of The Primal Blueprint, as well as the Primal Blueprint Cookbook. And he's got a blog of marksdailyapple.com. Giving these people kudos that they're not giving me anything, but they gave me a lot of knowledge. Rob Wolf, a biochemist, New York Times bestseller of The Paleo Solution, which is cool. The Original Human Diet. So these are people that I respect and honor, and so I just want to give kudos where kudos begins. If you want to talk about fasting and the spiritual parts of it, there's a whole bunch of history, and we'll go maybe a little into that. But I just want you guys to grasp it. I want you to implement it in your life. I want you to understand it's not starvation. I want you to understand that there's science and there's truth by it. It is maybe time interval eating, except for there are people that do week-long and longer fasts. And let's take it down to what happens when we eat, so you understand this. So when we eat, food energy is immediately used. Some energy is stored away for later. Some of us make better storages than others. I'd be one of them. The key hormone in all of this is insulin. When your insulin rises with meals from carbohydrates, even protein, but fat will not stimulate insulin. That's why keto is so popular. It does two major functions. First, it allows the body to immediately start using food as energy. Carbohydrates absorb rapidly and broken down to glucose, raise the blood sugar level. Your pancreas will, in the beta cells, put out that amazing insulin. It gets it into your bloodstream, and then we get the spike, and either we store or use the resources coming into our body. Protein is the same thing. Protein is broken down to amino acids and absorbed, but excess protein is not stored for like glucose. Excess sugar is. Protein does not raise your glucose, does not raise your blood sugar. It can only raise your insulin levels though. So the effects, vary on people, but fat is actually absorbed with minimal insulin elevation. Secondary to insulin helps store, excess energy. That's what fat cells are there for. Glucose molecules are linked to long chains in glycogen and then stored in the liver. Well, we have glycogen stored in other parts of our body too, so we can be very good at having these glycogen stores within our body, and we need to use those up to actually get in to start using fat. So once we are like in a fasting state and we use up all our glucagon that has all been stored away, then we go into lipogenesis, which literally means fat from new. So we're, finally using those fat storage like I want to tell my body to do when I go to the gym. So that's kind of how it works. So what happens when we fast? We don't eat all through the night. And so implementing intermittent fasting is where I suggest anybody to start before just jumping into this long 3-day, week-long fast, which people do. And I'll just explain this why. You just want to know what's going on inside your body. So I already explained to you the storage of glucagon. And after we start to fast, we do the glucogenesis. And that is when we're using the glycogen that is stored all around our body, mostly in our liver. And we literally make new glucose. Glucogenesis. That's what it stands for. And in a non-type 1 diabetic, this is a very great thing. Now, everyone's talking about keto and ketones. So low insulin levels will stimulate lipolysis, the breakdown of fat for energy. So that's why people keep their insulin levels way down in keto and are able to start telling their body to use the fat for energy. Triglycerides from fat are used in storage and broken to glycerin, the backbone of 3 fatty chain acids. So that's in glucogenesis. So that's what you're kind of seeing what's going on. In a protein, the protein conserving phase, let's say 5 days after fasting, high levels of growth hormone maintain muscle mass and lean body tissue. The energy for basic metabolism is mostly entered and supplied by fatty acids and ketones. Blood glucose is maintained by glucogenesis and glycerol. Increased norepinephrine or adrenaline levels may prevent any decrease in metabolism rate, therefore normal amount of protein turned over. So it is essential we switch from glucose into fat if we want to have success on the scale. And so understanding that it is not a calories in and calories out to using your fat, get the science behind why fasting is so amazing. Insulin goes down. You're going to make your body use up fat. There you go. Simple, simple, simple. So decrease the insulin, you result in decreasing and using your body, using those fat stores. So irregular low insulin levels improve insulin sensitivity because we've seen a whole bunch of insulin resistance in type 2 diabetes. Your body is then more responsive to insulin. So this is also another great reason for fasting. The opposite of insulin is sensitivity is high insulin resistance, which is the root cause of type 2 diabetes and is linked to heart disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, obesity, fatty liver disease, polycystic ovary, gout, atherosclerosis, GERD, cancer, sleep apnea, you name it. So are you seeing the picture that fasting could really, 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 really help you? I'm going to give you some more like good key takeaways to help you get on that fasting bandwagon. You're going to love this episode and you're going to share it with other people. So are you concerned about your electrolytes? Because I was like thinking about these people in a fast, because I was thinking about when I was forced into a fast, it would have been, this is with my last child. I had gallbladder issues and I had a really great surgeon. Then they don't do this in the hospital anymore. And she didn't want to take out my gallbladder. She wanted to rest it and see if it was going to get better. And I spent like 5 days fasting and breastfeeding, mind you, in the hospital. And I did have some electrolyte issues. And it's probably because I just had a baby and I am breastfeeding, in which they are taking, that breast milk is taking up a lot of my energy. So therefore, there's where my electrolytes did get a little messed up, because I remember potassium in the IV and it's super painful for anyone else who's experienced that. So, but in a regular person who is not breastfeeding, fasting will not have that same effect when it comes to your electrolytes. It could for a long-term fast, but a short-term fast, it doesn't affect your electrolytes. And electrolytes are the minerals in our blood. They are the sodium, chloride, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. And if those are out of whack, you have issues. It's funny because there was somebody on Instagram that posted something that she thinks that supplements are a waste. And I'm like, I just had my blood work. And I challenge you to go look at my Instagram, and I will post them. And I am religious about taking my supplements every day because I feel better doing so. And my blood work therefore shows it looks very good. Even in a fasting state, I take my supplements. Because you know what? I have spent years in healthcare and years of looking at people's labs. And I have seen over and over and over again adults low in the regular electrolytes that your body wants at those certain levels. So magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, those are out of whack, and those are your basic must need nutrients. And too low, maybe they'll be in a little bit on the low level, but you'll be okay then where you get into a dangerous level, because you can go to a dangerous level of high and low of these and your heart is not going to be happy. And I've seen this a lot in the hospital setting also. So am I a fan of supplements? Absolutely. Should you take them in a fast? You decide. There are some that are just made for a long-term fast. If you're going to do a long-term fast, I'd suggest getting those. They even say keto fast supplements are all about your getting your proper electrolytes and making sure you're drinking the water and getting those proper electrolytes. So, and then not to mention, like I had my vitamins, like my vitamin D. I had a cardiologist years ago when I worked in the heart area of the hospital, and he checked everybody's vitamin D, and he goes, Naomi, it is probably less than 95%. That is 5% of the population. Let's put it that way. 5% of the population that have proper vitamin D levels. And vitamin D levels so crucial for many functions in our body. So yes, I believe in supplementation. We don't have the same food, even if you're eating whole foods, that we used to before. And in some people, in some situations, if you are fasting, intermittent fasting, you are decreasing a lot of your calories too. So therefore, I really believe in supplementation. I've kind of gone off on that, but I think it's an important topic, and I will have to put some experts just to talk about the supplements that I take, whole food supplements that make a big difference. Another thing I've talked about, what I didn't talk about before with the hormones, is growth hormone. And growth hormone is something like when we are kids and you're, the excessively high levels will help manage your insulin levels and your fat storage. And so there's a huge component of that. So growth hormone, along with cortisol and adrenaline, all affect the way the body is available to use glucose and the effects of insulin. So we also, a cool thing is that it will slow down. Growth hormone will slow down as we age. It's one of the things with aging that they have seen. But guess what? You can help your growth hormone with fasting. It is improved with fasting, and there are studies to show that. So, hey, there's another reason. It's like this no-brainer, you guys. It is an absolute no-brainer that you should have an intermittent fasting. Start with intermittent fasting into your life. So, let me get to, I have a couple pages and books and some information. You might always hear flipping the pages. What are the side effects? Like we think about medications, and there's so many side effects, and everybody doesn't experience always sometimes the worst side effects, but sometimes they do experience, I have experienced some of the worst in certain meds. But fasting. So what are the side effects? You increase your glucose. Nope. You increase your blood pressure? Nope. You increase the risk of cancer? No. Actually, fasting does the opposite of all those things. So you should incorporate this into your life. And guess what though? I'm going to give you ideas when I started getting into it, and some things that will really make a difference. They're going to make a difference when you start integrating fasting into your life. And I don't want to go over it, and I don't think I'm going to get time in this episode to talk about autophagy and apoptosis, because those are so important. But let's talk about the advantage of adding intermittent fasting or long-term fasting into your life. It increases your mental clarity. Yesterday I did my yoga class. I fasted until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I didn't eat it. I stopped eating at maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. I didn't eat my first meal until 1 p.m. I did my whole yoga class, did not feel weak, did not feel less energy, felt amazing during the whole yoga class. And it was a challenging yoga class because it was a balancing one. And those balancing poses are tough, mentally and physically. So, but fasting will increase your mental clarity. It induces weight loss and fat loss, lowers your blood sugar, improves your insulin sensitivity, increases your energy. I can tell you, I didn't feel hungry afterwards. I felt amazing. Improves your fat burning, lowers your cholesterol. You want to lower your cholesterol totally naturally? Hello. Simple. Prevents Alzheimer's. This is huge because I had my grandfather with Alzheimer's, and his was a slow progressive Alzheimer's back in the day, and we had him all these several studies, and so he was on all these strange drugs for a long time that didn't work, and went through the whole process where my grandma was so fearful of getting Alzheimer's, because it's really hard to watch when you love someone go through those type of things. And so, hey, it's on the rise, they say. So this is one way you can decrease your risk. Extends your life, reverses the aging process, and works in decreasing inflammation. Hello. So should you be incorporating it? Yes. And I'm glad you stayed tuned. I'm glad you continue listening to this, even if you had to pause and come back. I won't get into all that autophagy, but I want to give you some amazing ideas and things that really help. So when I was new to it, and even before I wasn't new to it, just when I was really busy at work and I wasn't able to eat, and I was hungry, being in a hunger state isn't bad. You just got to shut it off. And one thing that helped me shut off the hunger state was the Slim and Sassy essential oil gum from doTERRA. It does have xylitol. That can cause issues with people's stomach, but I have no problem with it. Those are a blend of oils that have been known to help with feeling less hungry and helping you maintain your metabolism. And there's that oil you can diffuse at home. If you apply it to your skin, it's got some spicy oil, so you must have a carrier oil. But I love the Slim and Sassy gum, and it's peppermint. And diffusing peppermint anyways is invigorating and great for your mind. So it also increases your focus. It also decreases your appetite. So peppermint is one of them that you really want to, and it tastes to me more like peppermint. Then it has grapefruit and grapefruit essential oil. You can hear back. I've talked about grapefruit essential oil in this podcast. You can go listen to that. And then cinnamon. Cinnamon is long known People would take cinnamon tablets, which is just a waste of money. The chemical constituents you really need to help with your metabolism with cinnamon are in the essential oil. So you want them in the essential oil. So cinnamon essential oil, and it has then also your grapefruit, cinnamon, and lemon. And I'm going to give you a tip about starting your morning with a fast and an ideas of what you can rev up your metabolism, so to speak. And it's have some warm water before you have your cup of coffee, because you can have coffee and you can have half and half if you can do dairy with fasting, intermittent fasting. So you can have a nice cup of warm water, squirt in a little bit of lemon, get some fresh lemon yourself, squirt it in your cup. If you're working on your pH and you have a little kidney issue, you might even want to put a little great organic baking soda in the water too, just a teeny bit. But if not, just a tablespoon of apple cider vinaigrette, two drops of lemon essential oil, and get it down in the morning. Amazing revving up your body. You're going to make yourself pee and help your body, remove some toxins. And so that is one way to rev up. And another way is, in getting your teas and I just bought, which is really super cool, a French press, a stainless steel French press, so I can have really yummy coffee because I broke my espresso machine. And I love the loose leaf teas. And so when you're fasting, loose leaf teas are an incredible way. And there's a massive amount of herbs that you can buy in some loose leaf teas that are going to help you with your intermittent fasting if you're going to start in the morning. So you could say stop eating at 6, 7 o'clock at night. Don't have your first meal. Push it out to like 10 a.m. the first time. Then, do this for a week. Then go to 12 o'clock. Then push it further. My goal is to do a 3-day fast. I've done a 24-hour fast, which was amazing, and I felt great. And now I'm going to do a 3-day fast, just so I can make sure that I'm going to get my body into more autophagy. And I am going to explain that because I really, really want you to understand your body. I really want you to get the keys to helping your health. And the Slim and Sassy has been really helpful for me, the gum, because I could chew it. I'm a gum chewer anyways. I like chewing gum and not feel so hungry. Having my tea or my coffee, have your cinnamon essential oil in your coffee. Put it with your organic coffee beans, because coffee, though I love my Starbucks at times, is one of the worst herbicides and pesticides, and it just absorbs it. So I buy some organic coffee. Your choice. And same with the teas. There's a lot of teas. I'm a big foo tea drinker. I love my Japanese tea. I love mulberry tea. I love my chamomile at times. I love my black teas. I love my green matcha tea. The one thing that is going to affect your fast is if you have sugar in it. So you have to use your stevia or go without. Stevia won't increase it. You're going to find that aspartame is not good for you. Splenda is not the best for you. But I know people have done fast and done with diet sodas. And I'm not a fan of that. I had a lot of issues when I was getting a lot of aspartame in my body. And now I'm very cautious about aspartame and sugar both in my body, and trying to decrease it as much as possible. And I feel amazing when I fast, and I love it. And intermittent fasting is that you're going to slowly go through that glycogen score. So you're slowly going to start telling your body, hey, start using my fat for energy, please. And that's how you're going to talk to your body. Because we know that calorie in and calorie out doesn't work. I didn't really go into that to explain it, but it doesn't. And it's still sad to see people still trying to sell you a program and trying to get you to do it. Why haven't they done a Biggest Loser reunion? Because a lot of them regain the weight. So take this episode and get some sass. If you've never experienced doTERRA's oils and you've had somebody else's oils and you want to experience the oils, reach out to me today, holistictravelnurse@gmail.com. I answer all my emails personally. Sometimes it takes me some time to get back with that. Go check out some of my blog posts. on my website. All the links will be in the show notes. Get your teas, get your coffee. I'm also a fan of bone broth if you want to do bone broth, but drinking it by itself, I do add sometimes some collagen powder, not very much, to my coffee. And you doing it that way. You can do your heavy cream if you really like in your coffee. And if you cannot do creamer, then go to tea. Go to tea for a bit. Go and try some other yummy things that you could do during the fast that you could drink. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Make sure you're getting good quality water in your life. I was just arguing with my daughter about this because she thought buying bottled water was the best. I'm like, no! By the time that bottled water gets to you, it's been heated up so much, and I don't care if it's BPA free. The plastics components are going to be into that water and not good for you. And how well is it filtered? I want to know. I test my water. I get my own chlorine strips and I test my water. So this is my tips and tricks for fasting. I hope you incorporate it into your life. If you have a story you want to talk about and you want to tell me what it's done for you, I want to hear your story. I want to hear your comments. So email me, reach out to me, leave me a comment on this podcast, and keep doing something amazing for your body today, and have a blessed day. Thank you for listening.